Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and good evening to each of you. I'm Ken Bartels, Senior Vice President and Director of the Community Bank of Elmhurst and a Chamber Board member, and I'm officially declaring this 105th annual meeting of the Chamber to order, or as orderly as you're likely to get. For 105 years, this Chamber has been serving our business community to the betterment of the entire community, and it's a truly proud heritage. So tonight, please gather and join in a very celebratory moment. But let me begin with one quick note. Tonight, we will not be reviewing John Quigley's dating life. As we did last year when the event went right off the rails. We do have other interesting things to consider, though, and we'll get to them as we go forward, including John's quest to become the next Golden Bachelor on ABC television. And if you don't believe that, you need to ask a few folks. So this night is always fun. It's always a good evening as we recognize outstanding service to Elmhurst by individuals and businesses. So at this time, I would ask Bill Shanklin and Jennifer Veremis to come to the podium for our nation's pledge and our invocation, respectively.
Please rise. No, pledge first. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for attention. Just sit. Good. Gathered friends and esteemed guests of the Elmhurst Chamber, as we come together in celebration and camaraderie, let us offer our gratitude for this opportunity to connect and celebrate our community. May this evening be filled with warmth, laughter, and meaningful connections. Let us invoke blessings of prosperity, harmony, and growth upon the Elmhurst Chamber and all its members. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Jennifer. At this point, I would like all members of the Elmhurst Chamber Board of Directors to please stand for your joint recognition, please. These are your chamber leaders. Thank you. For 25 years, our Chamber's president and CEO has worked to make the Chamber and Elmhurst better. He has transformed the Chamber into a vital business entity and a community asset. He has changed its funding platform, its membership access, its role in civic affairs, its professional staffing, its stature in the region and the state, and its overall reputation. The Elmhurst Chamber was the only chamber in DuPage County that did not close its doors during the pandemic. And in fact, the Chamber became a leading communicator of pandemic news for the business community during that time. 25 years is a milestone, but it's more than that. It's a tribute to ongoing excellence. For his State of our Chamber remarks, please recognize John Quigley.
Thank you, Ken. First, let me address the Golden Bachelorette. Yes. Kim Kurzak, office manager, decided to nominate me to be on the next Golden Bachelorette. I did interview, but I do believe that the fact that I've been a 3-time divorcee may keep me off the show. Just putting that out there. Okay, it's not that funny that I'm a 3-time divorcee. Come on. Good evening, and thanks to all of you for being part of the 105th Annual ECCI Awards Gala as we gather to celebrate all that our chamber accomplished during 2023. Tonight, we will pay tribute to a group of extraordinary businesses and individuals whose names have become synonymous with service to our chamber and as contributors to the Elmhurst community. Allen Energy Services Air Conditioning and Heating will be recognized as the A.J. Cacciateronis Business of the Year for 2023. Endeavor Health's Colin Dalough will receive the Chairman's Award. Eva Sanchez of See Your House Right Here at Properties Elmhurst is our repeat Ambassador of the Year, and Dan Gibbons of the Dan Gibbons Turkey Trot Foundation will become the 34th inductee into the ECCI Civic Hall of Fame. Give them all a nice round of applause. That was better applause than you gave me, but that's... As tonight marks my 25th and most likely final ECCI Awards Gala as President and CEO, I want to recognize some of the people who have contributed to our chamber's success over the past quarter century. When I was hired in late November of 1999, Gloria Duarte of Café Las Bellas Artes had just completed her term as chair of the board of directors. At that time, Gloria was only the third female board chair in our chamber's history, behind Virginia Ginny Harmon of 2000 and Business of the Year award winner Unique Travel Service back in 1982, and Nancy Phillip of York State Bank in 1988. If you do the math, it means that no woman director chaired the board until ECCI's 65th anniversary. I'm proud to say that no less than 9 exceptional women have served as board chair during my tenure, some of who are in attendance tonight. So as you hear your name, please stand and remain standing. Rita Borzym, 2023 of Edward Jones Investments. Eva Sanchez, 2022 of See Your House Right Here. Desiree Chen, 2021 of Elmhurst University. Dee Longfellow, 2015 of the Elmhurst Independent. Julie Miller Sheehan, 2014 of IRS Trouble Solvers. Jennifer Speaker, 2012 of FSMB Advantage Group. Deborah Klosterman Catalano, 2007 of Catalano and Associates. The late Dare Messina, 2006 of LW Reedy Real Estate, and Kathy Bukowski, 2003 of CB Health Insurance. Please honor all of these female chairs with a great round of applause. And I dated none of them. Well, maybe one. 3 other women directors, Kelly Bradford, Lori Murray, and Charity Pagoni Algram, were also in the queue to become board chair, only to move out of the area prematurely. And I'm happy to note that First Vice Chair Angela Villegas of Lakeside Bank is in line to serve as board chair in 2025. Angela, please stand up. Kathy Bukowski was my first female board chair and ranked as the longest-serving director at 10 years before being surpassed by Desiree Chen, who had the benefit of a couple years extension through the pandemic. So, and I know Desiree was so happy about that. While Desiree's board service spanned a modern record 11 years, Elmhurst University representatives have served decades as directors, from Ken Bartels to yours truly, from Larry Carroll back to Ken Bartels, from Heather Winter to Desiree, and now Christina Dano. Yeah, go ahead, give them a nice round of applause. When I was elected to the board as Ken Bartels' successor in 1995, I was among the youngest directors at the prime age of 40. Talk about the proverbial good old boys network. 30-something and even 20-something directors are much more common these days for us. Julie Miller-Sheehan was my first Elmhurst University Job Path Program student intern and later became the first intern to serve as board chair. And I'll be happy to share stories about intern Julie in our post-event gathering at Elmhurst American Legion THP Post 187. Julie was in town last week, but didn't have the guts to stick around for tonight. So she's fair game. Aside from Deborah Klosterman, the Catalano clan has been active in our chamber for decades, with career real estate agent Frank Catalano Sr. chairing the board in 1990, and property manager, mortgage lender Frank Catalano Jr. serving as my first board chair in 2000. That first year, Frank Jr. and I worked diligently to move ECCI's offices, develop our first website, and budget for a membership staffer for the first time. By the way, our newest director of member services, Jennifer Veremis, is here. Please welcome her. Jennifer? When Frank Jr. purchased the former Press Publications building in downtown Elmhurst, where I had worked as the newspaper chain sports editor for 6 years, from the Kruger family in the early 2000s, our chamber became his first tenant. His recent purchase of the former DeForest Group building on Lake Street made him our landlord again, with son Frank Catalano III acting as our liaison. The Kruger clan also has a long history with our chamber, dating back to newspaper founder Harold Kruger, who served as the board's 6th president back in 1923. Harold's great-grandsons, John Jack and Peter Kruger, both of whom I worked alongside when their father Mel ran the family business, served as directors prior to my tenure with the chamber. Pete Kruger, publisher now of the Elmhurst Independent newspaper, is himself a 2012 ECCI Civic Hall of Fame inductee. Elmhurst Independent staffers have served as directors, including 2015 board chair Dee Longfellow, who thankfully won't be speaking tonight. Well, if you were at my roast, you know why. But if you weren't, roaster attendees, please explain. The real estate family of Thomas O. Myers also had a longtime chamber ties, with Tom Sr. and son Tom Jr. chairing the board in 1931 and 1992, respectively. Tom Myers Jr. is among a trio of 3-time Ambassador of the Year honorees, along with John Zawaski and Betsy Hanisch. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has served more years in total as a director than Ken Bartels. First for Elmhurst College, then for Community Bank of Elmhurst, and now with Ken Bartels Consulting, a chamber member since 2010. He stepped up as board chair during our chamber's 100th anniversary in 2018 and played a vital role in ECCI's Centennial Celebration NFP Capital Campaign, which surpassed all fundraising goals. When Ken worked at Elmhurst College, my alma mater, he hired me as the first Associate Director of Communications in 1991 and got me involved with our chamber based on my service on the Portage, Indiana Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. When my predecessor, A.J. Tachi Taronis, passed away in 1999, Ken encouraged me to apply as Tachi's successor, and the rest, as they say, is history. To this day, I welcomely tell people, if you're happy with our chamber, the credit is all mine. If not, Ken is to blame. Since meeting Ken as an Elmhurst alumnus in the early 1980s, he has been a father figure, a mentor, a confidant, and more importantly, a friend. I can't count the number of times that I've sought his counsel and insight, both professionally and personally. There is simply no one that I respect more than him. For all you have done for me, thank you, Ken. In the 30-plus years since opening for business in a trailer at Butterfield and Spring Roads, Community Bank of Elmhurst has consistently had board representation, with current president and CEO Rich Reichert having chaired our board back in 2001. CBE is the only two-time Business of the Year honoree, being the first ever in 1999 and again in 2013. The bank also hosts our annual State of the City Mayoral Address membership breakfast each January and the always fun holiday business after hours each December. If you weren't there, you missed me in a frogman suit. Rich's predecessor and CBE founder, William C. Bill Gooch Jr., was inducted into our Civic Hall of Fame back in 2001. Endeavor Health and all of its Elmhurst-based healthcare predecessors, dating back more than half a century, also have regularly been represented as directors, with Colin being our 2024 board chair. A number of retired business people have donated their time and even their money in service to our chamber, not the least of which is Ralph Pachanio, our 1992 board chair, appointed board treasurer since 2015, when he was also inducted into the Civic Hall of Fame, and the primary funder of the Ralph P. Pachanio Student Internship Endowment Fund at Elmhurst University, now valued at more than $350,000. What can I say about Ralph that wouldn't be mere hyperbola or an outright lie? He is among the kindest, nicest, most civil people that I have had the privilege of working alongside of, despite his huge ego. Now, you can decide which is true and which is not. But Ralph, thank you. Give Ralph a nice round of applause. I didn't ask you to stand up. I just asked them to give you a round of applause. Now you know which is a lie and which is true. But Ralph is not alone. People like his fellow ECCI Civic Hall of Fame inductees, Betsy Hanisch in 2014 and Fred Messerschmidt back in 2003, both of whom built thriving businesses before selling and retiring, but staying active in the chamber. Ralph actually worked for Fred at Elmhurst Federal Savings and Loan until its sale, and Fred chaired the board back in 1947 and first got Ralph involved in our chamber when Ralph went to work for him. It's the one thing I didn't like about Fred. Then there was the always cantankerous Howard Schreiber, who I admired for outliving 3 wives. Insert your own joke about me here. Even my old Washington Street neighbor, Jerry Sletton, who considered me a bit of a rabble-rouser in my youth, and for good reason. So you can see how so many individuals have positively impacted our chamber during my tenure. If I missed a name or two from my speech, I apologize. Just know that I truly appreciate all of you who have assisted my work in doing what's best for our chamber as a business organization and for our members. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming out tonight.
So, John, if in fact you don't retire, what possibly is left to say next year or the year after or maybe the year after that?
Hence my speech tonight.
For her outgoing chairman remarks and for the recognition of retiring officers and directors, Rita Borzym, the board chair in 2023, who is about to climb on the stage behind me. After she does those awards and gives her remarks, then we'd like Colin to come forward for her presentation of the Chairman's Award. So, Rita Borzym, please.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I must say that John stole some of my speech, my remarks, but I will prevail. So I appreciate the support by John and the board of directors for this past year. The board is a wonderful team of caring individuals that work together to benefit the business community. And just to let you know, at the board meetings, we do have fun. It's not a somber event. We had a lot of laughs, especially when we found out that Kim had nominated our illustrious leader as the Golden Bachelor. And that's for men who are 60 years and older who are looking for love. And then a side note, Ava still has not dated John. You know, none of the ladies date John, so. Well, I had to get even somehow. So anyway, on the good stuff, I want to recognize Desiree Chen of Elmhurst University for her service as the longest-serving director under John's leadership. So, come on, Desiree.
You'll present her a plaque and take a photo.
It's like a full rear chest. It did. You try. It's what we. That's. Okay.
We did not rehearse.
As if rehearsing would have helped. Yes, Rita, you weren't supposed to leave the stage.
You remember that challenge?
Yeah. Take that. We'll move to the side. I'll get in here and cover for you. So inside your program are stories on the awardees tonight, so you can read all about them. We don't have to go completely in depth on them. But Colin from Endeavor Health has done so much for us that Rita chose him to receive her chair's award for this year. He stepped up from second vice chair to first vice chair, obviously moving him into the board chair position a year earlier than expected. And during 2023, he helped us pull off two major events, an active shooter training preparedness program at Elmhurst Hospital back in June. And then Endeavor Health was also a big part of our multi-chamber hunger action luncheon in August that raised money for 13 different food pantries across DuPage County. The chairman's award winner goes to Colin. Colin, come on up. Oh, sir. Yeah. And Colin's not going to say anything because he's going to speak as board chair.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You can say thank you when you're speaking as board chair. Yes, you may leave now. Thank you. What a well-oiled machine. It only took me 25 years to get it running this smoothly. Our Ambassador of the Year is the first time we've had a repeat Ambassador of the Year. Eva Sanchez. Yeah, come on up. Eva Sanchez epitomizes everything you want in a chamber ambassador. She's at all the events, all the ribbon cuttings, even tonight. So, Eva, come on up and get your award. Congratulations.
Did you want to say something?
I'm just like to thank you.
Oh, just sure. Go ahead.
I do have a couple of words. Yeah. First,
Mike's? Yeah.
yeah.
No, don't.
Right here?
Just go to him. Yeah.
But I want him to see me.
She's got her remarks on her phone, so somebody call her phone right now.
I can't. I want to say thank you to the nominating committee for this three-peat honor bestowed on the Sanchez family.
Wings.
I have a call. Thank you. I have a collection of these flags at home. I want to say thank you to John, our board president, for the kind and complimentary introduction you have given me in our Gala booklet, in the Elmhurst Independent, in the ECCI website, in social media. Thank you so much, John. You are certainly an exemplary individual. Your dedication, integrity, and commitment to our Elmhurst, beloved Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce is for the history books. Thank you for everything you do. Since there's only me, Ambassador of the Year, I'd like to recognize my fellow long-standing and new ambassadors who have also committed to welcoming new business members at the ribbon-cutting ceremonies and in and out of chamber events this year and throughout the years of service. Doug Davis of Delta RMS Insurance, Ron Jadderholm of Independent Printing Services, Ken Bartels. These are people that I see all the time at the ribbon cuttings. Ken Bartels of Ken Bartels Consulting, Ralph Paciano, our treasurer, and Kathy Bajowski of Civic Health Insurance. Yeah, please, round of applause to all of our ambassadors. Thank you so much.
I'll just note that her son James was Ambassador of the Year before she was.
So, in years past, including last year, this portion of the program has caused some difficulty. As you might recall, last year, the handoff of the gavel from chairman to chairman didn't go so well. I think Eva dropped it twice. Rita dropped it once. So I've taken it upon myself to remove that possibility. So the duct tape comes off. It won't harm the plaque at all, but at least we won't have any issues here in just a few minutes. So for the introduction, Chairman Board Chair Colin Dalough, I'd like him to come forward. He's going to present the GAVA to Rita. Rita, you need to come back up here. And then we'll hear from Colin and his chairman remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, Colin and Rita.
There we are.
They got section. Okay, you're ready.
By the way, I have doctor.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. I'm really excited to be here. I did miss the roast of John Quigley, so I was told I get 15 minutes to go at John tonight, right? All right. Yes. As much as I would love to, John, I'm thankful for your leadership. I'm thankful for the opportunity you presented to me, as well as the hospital. You might be surprised to know that Elmhurst Hospital is actually the largest employer in Elmhurst. We're proud of that tradition, and we're proud of the engagement we have with the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and proud of the partnerships that we've developed. I was grateful for the comments that we heard earlier about the engagement for myself. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought about that, and I thought about the way in which that I have engaged. And in many cases, my job is just trying to convince other people to do things, or sometimes not to do things. And so I felt a little awkward to receive the award, because again, really, I'm part of the orchestra trying to support what we are doing together. And one really great example of that is the partnership we had with the Elmhurst Police Department. So if you're not aware, the Elmhurst Police Department will provide free active shooter training at your business or organization here in Elmhurst. That's important to us at Endeavor Health because we were touched by gun violence on the July 4th parade in Highland Park. It was part of our family. It was affected that day. So we made it a mission to try to improve health outcomes for individuals, and that was a key part of our strategy. But we knew that we don't work in a vacuum, right? We never do. We have tremendous resources right here in Elmhurst. And so I called, I think I actually sent an email to Chief McLean, and he responded immediately, right, with that spirit of engagement that we all embody in this room. And I encourage you to continue to embody after you leave this room. We can do amazing things together so long as we continue to support our community. We can make it healthier, more prosperous, and safer. So thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for your engagement with the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Let's go have a great 24. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. In 1992, the Chamber's Civic Hall of Fame was created, and since then, some 33 individuals have been honored, first at Elmfest and lately at this event. Once a year, we read the names of all previous honorees. Joe Newton, Eleanor King Hookham, Dr. Ivan Frick, Joseph Wagner, Jean Hazelhorst, Robert Magnuson, Virginia Harmon, Lee Daniels, A.J. Turonis, William Gooch Jr., Willis Johnson, Fred Messerschmidt, Jim Van Ewick, Jackie Haddad, Thomas Myers Jr., Abner Gannett, Jan Pauli, Robert Schiller, Tom Marcucci, Rich Grodsky, Pete Kruger, Doug Beach, Betsy Hainish, Ralph Piccianio here. Ralph, where are you? Stand. This time you can stand up officially. Daryl Whistler, Jack Island. Jack's right here too. Jeannie Urich, right here somewhere. Bill Shanklin. Bill? Scott and Charity Algren, Doctors Bryant and Jeanette Curitin, and John DeVries. That's quite a list, ladies and gentlemen. Currently, the Civic Hall of Fame touchscreen display featuring all these individuals and many more is located in the Elmhurst Public Library on the second floor, so you should stop by and see it. It really is a most impressive display. So for our 34th Civic Hall of Fame presentation, I would ask Dan Gibbons to come to the podium.
Thank you, sir.
You got it?
I got it.
Okay, I'm going to read the plaque first.
Okay.
So the Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce and Industry Civic Hall of Fame, Dan Gibbons. He saw a need, a human suffering, an unnecessary plight, and worked to correct it. He didn't ask for recognition, but recognition has a way of finding good people. Presented at the Chamber's 105th Annual Awards Gala, March 22nd, 2024. Dan Gibbons.
Let me do this right on Sunday. Right. That's another. That's what good. And thank you, Ken. And I'd like to thank the Chamber's Board of Directors and who's ever involved in nominating and presenting me and us with this prestigious award. John, thank you for your 25 years. Also, congratulations to Eva and Colin. I'm going to take a few minutes here because 40 years is a long time, but I accept this award on behalf of all of us. We've got 3 tables, and there are so many current and past board members that are here. Some couldn't make it, but over 40 years, there have been many, many family, friends, committeemen, committee ladies, kids, probably thousands of volunteers, because it really takes a lot of us to put this event on. Thank you to all of you and everybody and everyone that you represent as well. And some are not with us, so look down and check us out tonight. The most frequent question asked of me, how did it start? 1983, on a Friday night in December, I fell asleep, and some of you might remember Chicago Eddie Schwartz on WGN, and he started his Good Neighbor food drive. And I'm in my apartment, and I'm, just laying in bed listening to him do this all-night radio broadcast. He was mad at Mayor Byrne because Mayor Byrne was spending $300,000 on fireworks, and people in Chicago were going to bed hungry. So he wanted to do something about it, and that's when the radio station was on Bradley Place in Chicago. So I'm laying there trying to figure, they're having trouble getting stuff from the pallet into the truck and the forklift. So I'm thinking, I'm laying here, I could be helping out. So at that time, for like 10 years, I was a volunteer football coach at Visitation. So the following September, I went to my friends that we were coaching football, and I said, last December, there was this event, and I think we could help do something, raise a little money. So I said, well, what do you mean, Dan? I said, well, dude. And I explained the whole Good Neighbor food drive to him, and Mayor Byrne and Ed Schwartz and all that. So, well, what can we do? I said, well, this is way back when, what's a 5K? This is 1984 now. What's a 5K? Well, you've got 10 of them every weekend. So I don't know. I think it's some kind of a foot race. And what's a 5K? Well, I think it's 3 miles, but I'm not sure. They do one in Rosemont, and they do one on the lakefront. So I said, okay, well, why do they call it the turkey trot? Because they do it on Thanksgiving morning. So I said, well, that makes sense. Maybe we could do something on Thanksgiving morning. And I said, well, who's going to run it? And they said, well, you're single, Dan, and it's your idea. You're going to run it. So I said, well, what are we going to call it? I said, well, we're just going to do it once. Let's call it the Dan Gibbons Turkey Trot. Okay, that's fine. So we had no sponsors. We charged $10, and our proceeds we had 74 runners and walkers. It wasn't even 3.1 miles. I clocked it on my car. I think it was like, 2.5 miles. I don't. And I said, oh, that's close enough. So, anyway, so we netted $520, and I took $520, I took a check down to the second annual Good Neighbor Food Drive on Bradley Place. And I was waiting in line next to Tom Skilling, who was going to be on. He's like his third year. And I was sitting next to Mrs. Thomas Frazier, whose husband had just passed away, Frazier Thomas. So she was the honorary chairman that year. So I waited and presented the check. Okay, so we're done. The following year, in what turned out to be Silverado, I'm sitting with Sergeant Bob Jones in Sunset Grill before it became Silverado. And we're watching the Bears-Packers the night that I think McMahon came off the bench and hit golf down the sideline. It was the year that they won it all. So Bob said to me, are you going to do that thing that you did on Thanksgiving? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. That run that you did. I said, well, we don't have any sponsors. It was a one-time thing. So this is how long ago it was. He gets up off his bar stool, goes out to the vestibule where the payphone was, and he calls Jimmy Doherty. He's on the board of their giving arm, the Elmhurst Police Benevolent Athletic Association. Right, Chief? Where's Chief? Hey, right? And they help people in the community, the Kiwanis and the Rotary and the JCs. That's their giving arm. They're very generous. He said, well, if you do it again, we've got $250 for you. And I said, okay, I'll ask my guys. And so then I went to Dave Plummer at Elm Fed. He's good for $250. And I went to Bob Schiller, and he was good for $250. So now we got $750. So I go back to my guys, the coaches, and I said, all right, guys, here's the deal. We've got $750 if we want to do it again. I'm a member of the Knights of Columbus, as we all were, and still are. Maybe they'll let us use the hall. Okay. So I said, who's going to run it? Well, Dan, you're still single. And I said, well, what are we going to call it? He goes, well, well, we can't change the name now. So, okay, that's fine. So now we had 3 sponsors. In year 2, we had 232 people. Year 3, 407. Year 4, 636, so on and so on and so on. So last year, year 40, 8,004 paid with 51 sponsors. Thank you. So, anyway, I've got a little bit more, John. That's okay. I'm going about 1.5 to 2 minutes a decade, okay?
Right in line with Marcucci.
So over the years, I think cumulative, we don't know exactly what it is. Roughly, we've donated roughly $4 million. Last year, 16 agencies, we wrote checks for $220,000. And you know what, guess what? That's probably all gone now, and that's why we keep doing what we do. My elevator speech used to be, keep these numbers in mind, 60,000 and 20,000. On any given night in DuPage County, 60,000 people are at risk of going to bed hungry, and 20,000 are kids. Now, a child that goes to school in the morning who didn't have anything to eat the day before or breakfast, do you think they can think about school? No, they're hungry. And it's not right. So that's why we do what we do. But that's 60-20. It's not 60-20 anymore. It's 80,000 and 30,000 in DuPage County, one of the wealthiest counties in the country. It's not right. So we keep doing what we do, and we're going to do it until we get it right. So, stay. So some people say, you know, Christine will know. Christine's my right arm. I can't mention everybody, but I'm nothing without her. I'll tell you that. She's great. She makes me look good, which is really hard to do. So, thank you. People come up to us like in late October and said, hey, you know, you guys got to be starting to think about doing that race. Yeah, we started last January. And it is a full-time job because what we did in 2018, we for 5 years or 4 years, we had a 100-hole golf marathon to establish a kitty so that we could do another program. For all the years that we've been writing checks to the food banks, we're giving people a fish so they can eat for a day. What we wanted to do is start a job training so we could, and it's a culinary school, so we can teach people how to fish so they can eat for a lifetime. So in 2018, we opened Cafe Liberty in downtown Wheaton, and it's a free culinary school for veterans and the adult family members of veterans. We've recently opened it up to also any homeless individuals that want training for work and to people in recovery. So that's where we're at. I mean, anybody who wants to stop by and, talk a little bit more, my office is right next to the Knights of Columbus in Elmhurst, and my door is always open. But in closing, I'd like to know four of our main agencies and recipients and beneficiaries are in Elmhurst. United Community Concerns Association, Elmhurst Walk-In Assistance Network, the Elmhurst Yorkfield Food Pantry, and the IC Food Pantry. Well, we understand as a group that hunger just doesn't happen around the holidays. And we've been talking for a couple of years now with our board committee, and that we want to help in the middle of the year. So in spring of 2025, we won't have an exact date yet. We want to establish a halfway to Thanksgiving 5K, a twilight 5K on a Saturday night to benefit just those 4 agencies, keep all the money in Elmhurst. So we've got a motto for Thanksgiving to come out and join us. If you're not cooking, you're in the way. And we always say it's something that we always say as a committee, as a group, as a board. We're going to keep doing this until we get it right. I love all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Civic Hall of Fame inductee Dan Gibbons. I knew we were in trouble when he started out. I was born in a log cabin in southern Illinois. Said, oh, it's going to be a story. But it's amazing. We live in a great city, and we live in a great county. And from my work with the Kiwanis Club and other organizations, there are plenty of school kids who don't get meals when they head off to school in the morning. And a lot of groups put together to make sure that they have meals and they get fed lunches at least, so that they can do the best work. And the fact that he's produced nearly $4 million over those 40 years. Give Dan another nice round of applause. And now we come to our final award of the evening, the A.J. Tachi-Toronis Business of the Year. And I'd like to start out by asking Gosha Barron of last year's Business of the Year, Helping Hands Cleaning Service, to come up and join me and get their permanent plaque. So I'll give her a nice round of applause.
We're going to say a quick word.
Thank you.
Mike. Yep.
I prepared now.
Oh, another one on the phone.
Another one on the phone. Just don't call me.
Call her number.
Don't. I don't think you have my numbers.
I got yours out. You don't have mine.
Follow there. Oh. Follow there. So just wanted to say a couple words. Me and my team and I greatly appreciate the opportunity, the honor to receive this amazing award. And it was truly a blessing to have this, to keep this beauty in our office all year long. And we are ready to pass this on to the next recipient. And again, what I wanted to say is that before, during, and after someone receives a big award from their local business group like the Chamber of Commerce, there are responsibilities that are tied to that. Their main responsibility is to support their local community. Before Helping Hands won Business of the Year, our team worked very hard to help the community. We're always here to support everyone. When we won, the spotlight shone on our business and making us feel even more responsible to help everyone here. Now, as we pass this award to the next winners, and the honor stays with Helping Hands, we promise to keep improving so we can continue serving our community. Thank you again.
And our Business of the Year for the year 2023 is Allen Energy Services, Air Conditioning and Heating Company along Spring Road. They celebrated their 75th anniversary. We had a business after hours back in October to celebrate that. It's a longtime member of the Spring Road Business Association, active chamber member since 1967. Allen Heating was founded back in 1948 by John Allen McNider, who passed away in 1975 at the age of 72. And the family owned and operated business later included McNider's son, Roger Allen, who joined in 1949, and then grandson Michael Allen in 1977. And Energy Services purchased Allen in January of 2022, and Vice President of Operations, Eric Weech, has ramped up their support for the Chamber and for the Spring Road Business Association. He's played an instrumental role in all of the Spring Road Business Association events over the last several years, and he is the current president of the Spring Road Business Association. Eric, please come up and accept the trophy on behalf of Allen.
Now, close to a panel two to lady side. All right, thank you. What? Thank you. Heavy. All the job. That was the wow, exciting.
All right, we're going to put that ring.
Yeah.
Oh, you all are in for a ride. So I have to be perfectly honest with you. John took me aside and said I had exactly 4 minutes to have a speech and get some words off and accept the award. And he told me, start off with a joke, ease into the crowd, be thankful for your award, and to move on. And sounds great. He told me, if you freeze, think of everybody in their underwear. I said, and Ken is like, no. So all that aside, I think I'm going to roll with, Gosha brought up her phone because she has her notes on her phone. Old school, this is my 42nd year doing this, as far as a heating guy, right? Old school, we write them on the back of envelopes, right? Because this is what's handy on your desk. As a thought comes in your head, you better write the damn thing down. So here's my speech. I lie. I actually been working on this for 3 weeks, and every day it would change. And every day something new comes in your mind that you want to say, because there is oodles and oodles of people you have to thank. For example, John, thank you for guiding me as I came into the chamber and stumbling a bit in terms of meetings and learning the lingo and the proper terminologies, because I'm a heating guy. I started in this business pushing a broom on the floor. I worked my way into service. I worked my way into installation. I went to school at night for an engineering degree. I designed systems and ultimately climbed the ladder in our organization that allowed me to take that experience and pass it on to others, because it is our responsibility as management to carry that experience and pass it on. If you don't, you leave it up to whimsical ways of people thinking they know the best way to do it, when the best way to do it is always keeping in mind that the client is the reason you are in business. You are not in business for them to just come to you. If I don't solve a need, you will find it somewhere else. I promise to always be there to solve your need. I'm sure many of you have run down Spring Road and seeing our green and white truck in front of our shop at 9, at 10 o'clock at night, at 8 o'clock at night on a Friday, 5 o'clock on a Saturday. It's because I choose to put in the hours to take a family business and nurture it like it's your child. If you do not nurture a business as if it's your child, it will not grow and prosper. And I make that correlation because my granddaughter, who came up to me over the weekend, and I was thinking about what John said to me. He said about a joke, and actually John had a side discussion with me earlier, and I'm like, I don't even know what an appropriate joke would be. I'm a heating guy. We drink beer. Trust me, our jokes maybe not be for this for this setting. But she said, Grandpa, I have a joke for you that I think you'll like. And I think it's fitting because we came back from a trip and she saw a picture of me where I was out on a beach and I was in beachwear. And she said, Grandpa, why do elephants hate running on the beach? I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, she's going to lower the bomb on my waist or something like that. She goes, because their trunks always hang down, just like your trunks do in that picture. I kid you not. And I thought that was very fitting because the tie-in, and I love them to death. My granddaughters live next door to me. So it kind of gives you an idea. I cherish family. I cherish family-owned businesses because they are the heart of this community. It's where we all started. When Mr. McNider started this business in 1948, his statement was, we're here to serve you, and you're just not a sale. You're a friend for life, was his motto. I personally believe that, and I personally live that every day. So for those of you that have already worked with me, you can attest to that it's whatever you need, when you need it, I'll be there, or I'll have someone there from our company who shares my vision. And it's frankly because of that vision is why our company has grown and allows us through the chamber, who's given us the path with introducing me to other businesses and just gaining their friendship, gaining their experience, gaining their insights, that allows us to continuously prosper. And the community is what helps us prosper. So we make it a big deal in our company to give back to the community. Our 75th anniversary this year was our give back year. Our give back year culminated with, for those who have a broken system, couldn't afford a system, we fixed it for them free of charge. For those that needed general maintenance, thank you. Thank you. For those that, just couldn't take care of systems, we took care of it for them free of charge. We partnered with Grace Bible Church, one of our Spring Road business members. They identified a couple that could benefit from a system. They had a 65-year-old furnace in the basement. 60, size of a car in the basement, as they were back 65 years ago. And it was failing. And as you can imagine, being retirees, budget was tight, they couldn't do it. Wayne Kuna from Grace Bible brought that to our attention, and the culmination of our Give Back campaign for the year was that customer, that couple, the McKendricks, didn't have to worry about a new furnace or a new air conditioner or a new humidifier. We put in a system for them to ensure that their comfort, their utility bills, their peace of mind was satisfied. And that is how you take care of a community. We didn't ask for any money. We didn't ask for them to do anything. We didn't ask for them to be a photo op. We didn't ask for anything in return. But boy, let me tell you, they were gratuitous in wanting to come to our open house. They wanted a photo of our guys in front of their house with their old furnace coming out, the furnace going in. Because it's a little uncomfortable for me to take that type of recognition, being a 42-year-old guy who's taught by old guys who you just do what you say when you say you're going to do it, and that's all you need to do in life to get ahead. So I am incredibly humbled that the Chamber thought highly enough of Allen Energy Services to bestow this award on our company. Thank you, John. And thank you for the members of the boards who voted on that. And certainly thank you to the community that has supported us. But I'd be remiss if I also didn't say thank you to my wife and to my children. And they put up with the time that I'm away. So I leave at 7. I come home at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night because someone's got no heat. Someone's got no air conditioning. Someone needs something, and I'm going to be there for them. Today was a perfect example, and I'll give you a little glimpse into my world today. With the weather being kind of what it was, you can imagine there was a few amount of no heats that were coming in today. To such an extent, our service techs were reaching out to me at 1 p.m. for a furnace, at 3 p.m. for a furnace, at 4 p.m. for a furnace, and I am still at my office in work clothes at 4:15. Now, I live in Itasca. My office is in Elmhurst, and my wife is getting crazy, blowing up the phone saying, "Where are you? We're supposed to be somewhere at 5. You got a suit to get on." And I'm like, someone needs help. We're going to take care of it. We took care of it. I got home at 5:15. I did my whole Superman in a phone booth thing, and here I am, here to celebrate with you all, to accept this great award that I think every member of our company that started out as a one-man office in the back of a hardware store in 1948 in our building that we still occupy today, that now encompasses 70 employees in 2 locations with 42 trucks on the street. That is what happens when you invest your time, you treat it as a child and you watch it grow, you handle the ups and the downs, and you invest yourself in the community and you give back. All of that is the big circle that makes the joy of running a business something that I would not trade for the world. I am fortunate that this was a career path that I ultimately chose when I was a sophomore in high school. Had no clue. I took Davia. For those of you, maybe go back in the way, Davia, was a trade school that you went to in high school. You got out of high school. You got to go somewhere and play around for a while. And I learned a trade and was picked up by a company after that. And look what that looks like if you stick with it. My wife of 40 years, thank you for sticking with me for 40 years. Thank you. Again, I am so grateful for the chamber. I am so grateful for our employees that every day they give 100%. I am so grateful for our management team that gives 100% and supports every one of our employees. I am so grateful that our company gives back to the community. And I just want to take one more point to follow up on Dan Gibbons. Dan, food insecurities, and this is the one thing that I'm going to talk to just briefly about. Food insecurities is absolutely at the core of our company. We support Loaves and Fishes. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with Loaves and Fishes, but we've been a big supporter of Loaves and Fishes for the last 15 years. And Loaves and Fishes started in 1984 servicing 8 families. In 2000, they were serving 200 families a week. In 2022, coming into 2023, they were feeding 8,000 people a week. And here we are in 2024, they're serving 9,000 people a week. Food insecurity. Here in DuPage, Cook, Will, Kendall counties. Our company has made it a point that we are one of their donors. And I won't say how much it is, but I will tell you it is 6 figures over the last 10 years. And we want to continue that because we believe that that should be eradicated. There is no reason someone should go home hungry. There is no reason why anybody should have to worry about where their next meal is coming from. We as a family-owned business will always support our community in every aspect we can. And food insecurities is our top concern. Thank you again. Thank you. I am humbled. Thank you, John. Thank you.
Yes, gentlemen, I mean,
That concludes our awards portion. The food stations are open. The bar is open. Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of the evening.